Welcome, guys. I'll go over a little bit of what happened today before Hacky joins us. Started off with RCL on Twitch against Aaron Squire. Took a second to get going. First game went through pretty quickly. Aaron Squire won decently, convincingly. And we had a huge issue with gems and how many you can run in a deck. And he tried having 5 for some reason, even though supposedly everyone thought he knew you're only allowed to have 4. Of each specific gem. So that herped quite a bit in between the games. But the second one got underway, finished pretty quickly. RCL put up a very good fight. Aaron was ahead most of the time, though. It was really good games. And we'll probably have Jolt Energy joining us as well here. Upgrade raid call. Sounds good, man. No worries. Yeah, raid call's a good program, though. Yeah, I just started. So I can. That is the raid call ID. Anomaly Guild is the name. You guys are welcome to join in for this, especially Function, Hacky, Jolt. I'd be more than happy to have you guys join me talk about the games today. But as it was going on, Muku and Jolt were only able to get 2 games in. They each won 1. There's some huge issues with Jolt not being able to play any games for a while, so that ate up about 45 minutes of the time. Hey, Jasara, welcome. And we ended the day off as most of you were there. The Function Fails versus Hacky Channel, some very close games. Like everybody was kind of on the edge of who was going to win for that one. You can hop into raid call whenever you want, man. You're welcome to right now. I mean, it depends if you want to be commenting on your game or not. That is up to you. It is cool. Jay Tata is putting this together. Not sure how well you can zoom in on a little bit here. The lettering's a little hard to read, but I mentioned that to him. It's going to have just the general tournament standings. I'm not sure what he's going to do about the newcomers, since they're doing an actual bracket style as opposed to round robin. There we have Jolts and Hacky. Got both of you in here. Welcome. But I do like that he's updating the points that everybody gets. Keep in mind you get 1 point for each game you win, so up to a maximum of 2 points each game. You can end up losing a series, but still getting a point. So you still have a chance at getting through, even if you don't win most of your games. If all of your games go 2-1, you could still get in.
How are you doing?
Unlikely.
Is this working?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear both of you.
Excellent.
Might be a little loud. Let's turn that down a little bit. There we go.
So, what's up?
Not much. Your games were really awesome. They were very close. Those were some fun ones to watch. How'd they feel for you?
I felt like I drew terribly in the later turns of my game. I think drawing 1 or 2 cards that weren't shards would have helped me quite greatly.
I agree completely. You got pretty mana flooded at the end there. I've been in that situation. It's definitely frustrating, especially when you start off the game with like just the resources you need, and then you hit late game and that's all you seem to draw. You're like, oh, anything else, please.
Well, it didn't help that the in my case the sideboard of the ruby, and I'm guessing the spider with the ruby gem is all sideboard, and those 5 cards go in, and they work really well with the main deck Shards of Fate, which goes with the slower control deck style, and that's something I hadn't seen recently, but now I can keep that in mind and build for that. My deck choice might be weak in terms of seeing tech like that available.
Yeah, it was all sideboarded, as Function saying in chat here. He was actually commenting on it as he was putting it in. He's like, "This is a really risky move. This could fail horribly. I could not draw my ruby or the Shards of Fate. I'd be sitting on the spiders in hand, and it could have gone poorly. He drew perfectly, drawing that ruby shard off the bat. It made it work for him. It's definitely a high risk, high reward though, running a triple shard.
But Shards of Fate makes that possible.
Yeah, exactly. The one downside to Shards of Fate that I've seen a couple of people try to do is they'll run something with 2 threshold, relying on Shards of Fate, and draw the card that they need to shard off of. Because you can't Shards of Fate off something in your hand, which I thought was an interesting interaction there.
That is an interesting downside. In addition to, of course, not getting that resource and not getting that charge for the turn.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and Shards of Fate really has to be a turn 1 or turn 2 play. So it's unless you have a really late game deck or have the resources you need already. Yeah, you can still play the one from your hand, but if you're relying on a 2 threshold, yes, you can shard into a shard, but you get nothing for it. You get no thresholds. So, but there was a little bit of discussion between me and him about air superiority, and I wanted to get your thoughts on that. As obviously you kind of built your deck around it.
My basic thoughts on air superiority is that flight is just one of those keywords that, and of course, this is not coming from a Magic background. I'm not a huge Magic player, but it is a simple 2 cost card that buffs things permanently. I give things flight with my champion power. Most of my cards have flight, and just become bigger. I think the weakness of the deck is pretty much that it relies on 2 and 3 health creatures, and the spider just hits that 3 damage threshold that's needed to take care of cards like that. I think against a different deck, against cards like Burn, that's 2 damage, other things that do 2 damage, Heat Wave. Um, Air Superiority gets your 2 health cards above that threshold, and that's really just the efficient way of playing that. It works with Menacing Gralk, it works with Ancestral Specters, it works
Mm-hmm.
with Baneslayer Pony, and all those cards, and I like it. I'm not sure if that makes it tier 1. I think it gets stronger the more cheap flight cards or power flight cards that push me through, like Gralk. Gralk is in my deck to combat an aggro or a mid-range deck that has a board flooded, a board that I can't push through, and allows me to
Mm-hmm.
push through it. It actually takes the place of Mastery of Time in my deck. I was considering both those cards, and I opted for the Gralk because he's a creature. It does the same thing, and Mastery of Time, I have to have a board in order to make that effective. But in terms
Very
of
true.
air superiority, I like it. Like that's was one of the early demo decks that I'm like, I like this style. I want to see. I want to play with it. Without much experience, that's a deck that I think can at least handles itself in normal pub games. So I will continue to see how it goes, and what I play tomorrow, who knows?
Yeah, that is one of the nice things about the tournament, being able to switch decks between days. Allows for a little bit of variance and allows you to kind of maybe try to counter an opponent's deck if you scout them ahead of time. I have one last question. Are you glad that Menacing Grawl got fixed then, I assume? I know for a while I wanted him in a couple of my decks, but he was bugged for so long. Did you think he got fixed
That's
right in time?
I don't know when it got fixed. That's actually someone's. While as I was building the deck, maybe you were the one that told me that it was possibly broken. I did take it into a few games over the past couple days and try it in game, and just made sure it was working correctly. That they're not infinitely bugged and not
Hmm.
readying or anything like that that I could be called upon. But finding it's working, and I like it better than Mastery. Like as I said, the Mastery of Time. In that I want to build up a board and I want to push through with damage on that extra turn. Also controlling things like being attacked back by a big board. I actually have a highlight on my channel of a really good game where I'm facing a 10-10 Righteous Paladin or something, and that Gralk right on time stalls for 2 turns, but until I can draw a repel or whatever I had to kill it. So I'm glad that card's fixed. I'm glad that the game is developing, and we get a patch every week, and more things are fixed than break. So we'll get there eventually. So very happy about that. And
Yeah,
then,
you
of
can
course, we
only
have a patch.
go ahead.
We have a patch tomorrow, so we'll see what we get. We might
Yeah,
have completely different cards, or like the smaller patches, a few extra cards that actually do affect the metagame. We
hmm.
will see.
Yeah, and then how do you feel about not running counter magic? I know Function was constantly on his toes. Is he going to counter it? Is he going to counter it? Do you think he might run that?
It's in my side deck. I was considering running it. I didn't feel like I needed it strongly enough. I opted to rely on drawing cards to to force damage early game. Like I still hadn't seen a Thunderbird, and there are three in the deck. I'm like, where are
Mm-hmm.
my Thunderbirds? Where are my early drops? Um, that might be something I change in terms of playstyle. I mean, they were there. I do acknowledge that I will need them in a very controlled matchup when Repel and Stone Skin, which were my two answer cards in the deck, weren't that useful. And I did opt for instead of counter magic, um, I cited in what's that card? Inner Conflict, which got used
Mm-hmm.
against me, and actually that was a misplay on my part that I think may have cost me the game, but may not have actually mattered. Where an Inner Conflict hit my Growlk, and I passed priority before I realized I was holding a Stone Skin in my hand. So that's almost the same. Stone Skin is pretty much counter magic for what I want to counter. I can't use it against creatures troops you play, but I can use it against the answers for mine, which it's a playstyle decision, I think.
Yeah, makes sense. No, I think your deck's really solid. I'm excited to see it going forward. If you want to hang around, I'll have another general question about the overall tournament. Otherwise, Jolt, are you here?
I am.
Awesome. Your games were a little bit slower, but still really close. There were some fun games to watch. So how did you feel about them?
I felt pretty good about them. They were really slow. My deck kind of has that feel where it just makes a game last longer because I take away the troops from my opponent.
Hmm.
And I made a major mistake in not being able to kill. I can't remember what the card is. It was nine
The
nine, and
the honey cap.
I yeah, I
Hmm.
accidentally messed up in the counting, and that lost me the second game.
Yeah, it was late enough, and he did have a little bit of advantage. You definitely could have bounced back from that, though. Um, well, while you can't do any major deck changes, what are you thinking of sideboarding for your guys' game tomorrow? Because you have your last best of three tomorrow.
I'm not really sure. I think I'm just gonna look at what cards there are, and I might decide to change something. Might not.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely looks like the big hitters are what he goes for. He doesn't quite have a ramp style, but do you think you could be able to outpace him with your deck? Get it before the honey cap gets to be a problem in the fist? Is that what you're going to try to go for? Or are you just going to try to
I
remove
hope.
his stuff?
I'm just gonna try and remove everything. The major thing I'm worried about is the immortal card.
Hmm. The indestructible, the fist?
Yeah,
Hmm.
because I can't kill it with most of the cards. The only thing I can really do against it is counter magic,
Hmm.
or put it back in his hand and then use counter magic.
Yeah, that's why I've tend.
If he's able to get that out and keep it, I pretty much will lose.
Hmm. That's why I've started kind of running Void Key in most of my decks, just as a catch-all, or at least in the sideboard, just for that type of card.
What is it? I have polymorph. That's the other cards I can use to get rid
Hmm.
of it. I might
Yeah,
add a couple more of those in.
yeah, the polymorph is very good against it. The Void Key is the two-cost artifact where you pop it for 5 to void target card. Indestructible is
I'll look into that.
Yeah, indestructible is not immune to void. The void zone is considered separate. Something definitely to keep in mind.
Will do.
Yeah. I'll be excited to see your games tomorrow. Your game is 4 p.m. Pacific time, you said?
It should be.
So that should be what, 2 a.m. GMT? That's 8 hours
I think
off?
so.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think. My math could be off. It might be midnight. Yeah, I think that'd be 12 a.m. Anyway, guys,
Okay.
it's at 4 p.m. PST tomorrow. Not to sit there trying to do mental math and hold you guys up. Is there a password for the channel? Yes, I'll drag you in though, because this is our guild's raid call. Well, thank you very much, Jolt. One quick question again before you go. Well, you're welcome to hang around, but what are your thoughts on the other players, not just Muko? Who are you really worried about for the tournament going forward?
Sadly, I wasn't able to actually get to watch many of the games, but I'll be watching tomorrow. I'll be
Alrighty.
looking at what people are doing. I'll see what happens.
Are you
Possibly
scared
worry.
of the infamous J Tata who won last time?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that brings a little bit of respect, and you have to be a little scared of him. Well, anyway,
Hey,
thank
how's
you.
it going?
Awesome games. Look forward to tomorrow. How you doing, Function?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
Awesome. As I was talking with Hacky here, those are some awesome games. I know we chatted
Well,
in the Twitch chat
yeah,
quite a bit.
they like I gotta say, Hacky, like I was on the edge of my seat. Like the whole time I was like, oh, he's gonna blow me up so hard every
Is it a
time I
counter
play this
magic? Is
card.
it a counter
Yeah.
magic? Is it a
Is
counter
it counter
magic?
magic and stone skin? Like every time I was like, oh, he's gotta have it. Which is actually kind of funny. Like that's what I was saying to Hans, is like there's a funny thing about playing a deck where you don't have counter magic, but where you might. Like your opponent still is gonna think that you have it a lot of the time. Like I didn't know you didn't have it. I was playing around it the entire time. So like in some ways that actually gives you a pretty
Did I
big
lose the call?
advantage.
Yeah, the fact that you have it sideboarded means even if you haven't run it, you still can. So you still have to be afraid of it. Is there any? Whoa. Nobody is in the channel. Uh, it looks like there's nobody in raid call. They disappeared. That is a little odd. See if we can get them back. Um, Otherwise, yeah, tomorrow's games are going to be. See if we can pull them up here. Get the right. Here it is. See, the games tomorrow we're going to have not me. This is being replaced by RCL on Twitch. I'm going to start off RCL against Function Fails here, followed up by Jolt Energy versus Aaron Squire. That's going to be a really awesome game. Not that I don't think Function's going to do good. And then Muko versus Hacky. That's going to be a fun game. Two slower-ish stacks. Hacky's got some nice early speed, but Muko hits some really big hitters. That'll be really fun. You guys are welcome to come back. I'm not sure why it kicked you guys out. Okay, you got Hacky and Function back in here.
Yeah, I messed it all up.
I don't know what happened.
Sure. I think you might have disconnected. I might have disconnected. Something like that.
We both did, so maybe it was the server. Who knows?
Yeah, it was just the non-members, which is really weird because that shouldn't be an issue. Because I'm
Isn't
admin
like
and brought
us.
you in here.
You're trolling us. There's somebody in here like just kicking us out. They're like, look at these guys.
Probably Jacera. She tends to do that. She's a troll. But anyway, um, Function and Hacky. We'll start with Function. Who are you most afraid of for this tournament, both in the pool and overall?
Well, I think in the pool, I gotta set my sights on Aaron Squire. I think he just won the what was it, the Hex Realms tournament, so I gotta set my sights on him, um, and see how that works out. Granted, I think it's not just like the top person out of the pool who moves on, right?
Yeah, I believe it's the top two. I was trying to find for sure on that one. I
Yeah,
couldn't find where it
so I at
said.
least yeah, I've at least got a chance, even if he still beats me down. But we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. And Hacky, who are you most worried about?
I'm frankly not worried. I'm at the point where every game against me is more experience I have, win or lose, and that's valuable. And from my WoW TCG days, I didn't win much by myself. I win with the help of my team, my group. And for me, it's my local players. A lot of them are actually back into Hex, waiting for Hex to be released. We will be joining Hex as a team or a guild or something, where we will have a presence. And that's what I'm looking forward to, especially like as the Kickstarter went on, as time goes on, as the game gets released. We're bringing a lot of the things we love about having those teams, those competitive teams, and bringing them in the online digital card game setting. So I think we can have the best of both worlds there. And well, that's a big tangent I just went on, but
It's all good.
my attitude toward the tournament is I'm going to see big names. I'm going to see names that are as experienced as I, and every time I see a deck, I will take those lessons. I will learn from them. So it's not really how I'm gunning for anybody, but I'm out there to do the best I can and learn from it so I can bring that experience with me for next time. Just be confident, be humble in my play. That's all I can really ask for. And my opponents have, well, this is a compliment. Like everyone in the Hex community I've interacted with has just been stellar. So I have full faith in the Hex community, and I think this will be a very fun tournament. And I hope to win out of my group. So I just got to work on that.
I guess I
Very
would say real quick.
politically correct
Oh,
statement there.
who else I was gonna say? You said I gotta watch out for Guerra. I think he's in like the Asian bracket or something.
Mm.
Even though he lives on the East Coast, but since he and I are sharing deck technology, I'll have my work cut out for me when
He's a
we
very
actually play against
formidable
each other if
force.
that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just to help you feel a little better there, Function, about Aaron Square, is he did win both his games today, but it wasn't a resounding win. He didn't like stomp through. And RCL is a good player, don't get me wrong, but Aaron Square didn't necessarily impress me any more
Yeah, I've
than.
got plenty of
Go
I've
ahead.
got plenty of room to fail more than I function, so we'll see. I'll need a little bit more luck.
Sounds good. Well, you definitely had some luck today. It was some awesome games. I look forward to seeing what you guys bring tomorrow. Plan to be some good games again. Thank you so much for joining me on here. I'll be doing this again tomorrow after the final game. Some of you are welcome to join again. We might see if we can pull in some of the others as well, maybe.
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
Thanks for inviting me as well.
No problem.
Thank
You
you.
guys have a good night.
You too.
Cheers.
Alrighty. Well, I am actually going to end it here. I've got a lot to do still tonight and then tomorrow, so I'm not going to be doing much of my own streaming. Hopefully, I'll get a couple of my own games in tomorrow, along with my wrap up at the end of the night. So you all have a wonderful night. Check out the games tomorrow. Let's see, who did we have again here? I know they look to be really good. Let's see, we got RCL against Function Fails starting off at 10 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Pacific Time here. Then at 9:30 Pacific, we're going to have Jolt Energy versus Aaron Squire. And then at 11 p.m. Pacific Time, we're going to have Muko versus Hacky Channel. All promise to be very good games. I know I'm sure excited. You guys all have a wonderful night. I'll be bopping in and out of chats a little bit tonight. But I will see you all tomorrow.